Might have made a big mistake here, guys.
We bought a boat.
Well guys, the boat we have here today is the Tracker 175 Pro Team TXW. This is our first bass boat, hopefully the first of many. The reason why we got this boat was for the value of it and other boats on the market. From the research we did, this is the best value for boat. Now we did add a few things as we'll show you later. There's some pros, there's some cons, but we want to get into that. The first thing I want to mention is that the Tracker, this isn't the nicest bass boat you're going to get, but it's a good starter boat. You do get a good platform though, I have to say. We've taken this out already. There was some chop on the water and it rode really well. I'll show you more of that tomorrow when we take it out on the water. But for now, I'm going to run you through the back of the boat, the things we have, the way we have it organized, the engine we have, and the gas tank. Alright guys, so first of all, I want to get into the back of the boat, mainly the battery compartment and the fuel tank. This boat's a little bit different than other bass boats in the sense that the fuel tank is built in, but it takes up most of the back. It is pressurized, so you have to be very careful with what you put by it and where you do everything. There is not a lot of room back here for batteries. Right now, we have three 12-volt lead core batteries. I would recommend getting two 24-volt lithiums. I would say that two 24s and a 12 would be plenty for this boat. These did drain quite a bit with the electronics we're running, and we just have the stock trolling motor on it. We didn't want to add the bigger trolling motor until we kind of knew how this boat rode and see if it could handle a little more weight. It definitely can, but these three batteries are what we have. Like I said, I'd recommend two 24 lithiums, and I just put one lead in for your cranking battery. There is also not a ton of storage on the back of this boat. It's your fuel tank, your batteries, and your live well take most of it up. So keep in mind, a lot of your weight's going to be at the front of the boat, and if you're fishing with more than one person, the front of your boat will start to get weighed down. Me and my brother both weigh about 150, 160 pounds. We were both able to fish up there. The boat wasn't weighed too much down in the front. But keep in mind, if you're a bigger guy, you're going to be fishing more than two people up there, the front of your boat's going to be quite front heavy. Then we move on to our live well here. Now this butts up right against your third battery that we have in here. It's decent size. I do like the divider. Most bass boats now will have that option. I'm always going to leave that in there, especially with the few tournaments that we will fish. You know, nice just to be able to separate the fish and not have to be digging around. This does have an automatic aerator in it, so it'll continually or off of a timer put more air in. It will also be able to recirc the water in there, so your fish don't die, obviously. It's very important to protect our resource. If we move over to the left side of the boat, the port side, it's just a little dry box, wet box, whatever you want to call it. It's got a drain plug in there, so this is where we keep just our random like buffs. We keep most of our line in here, little first aid kit, just our random line and stuff that we might need. It keeps it out of the way. It's light. We keep a couple sets of tools in here in case anything happens. And obviously, one thing I don't like about that is it does not lock. So if you're gonna take this boat somewhere and leave the cover off, be prepared. Don't leave anything valuable in here unless you're gonna cover it, because it does not lock. Same thing with the battery compartment. Both dry boxes on the back side and the live well. If we move over to the right hand or starboard side of the boat, there's another same size box. We keep our miscellaneous tackle in here, so weird plastics that we've gathered, hard baits that have extra hooks on them. This box just hooks and extra weird baits. And then we also keep our bait pop in here as well, because we do have live sonar on this boat, so it does help. So if we keep moving forward, we obviously have our 2 seats here. You get these, obviously, are standard with the TXW. If you just get the TX, you do not get these seats, and you do not get this middle compartment. You will have another live well here. This is just going to be chopped off here, and there's another live well here. I would not get that boat. You don't get the recessed floor pedal up front. It's just not a great boat, and for the same price, I would recommend the TXW. You get more storage, you get a little bit more workability. So in here, we have our battery charger. Right now, this is where we keep our craft covers, our waterproof marine boxes, scales, fire extinguishers, flares. And then this right here charges all the batteries. I will say, this is not a fast charging boat. We've had it probably, if we're running it for a day, we probably have about 1/3 of our battery power left, maybe a little less. And it'll probably take another 12-15 hours to charge them up fully. It is something to note with the lead core batteries. They do drain quickly, they take long to charge up, and they're really heavy and bulky. I do recommend lithiums if you can afford them. They are pricey. We're probably going to end up putting lithiums on this boat, but we wanted to get it how it is, run it, and just be able to enjoy it for a little bit. If we move over to the starboard console, we did add a 10-inch Garmin EcoMap Ultra. This boat, you can't have a massive motor. It's only 17 feet long, 7 inches. It does have a Mercury 75 on it from the model we got. You can get it with the 65. I would get the 70. It's a nice motor. It gets up on pad around 12, 13 miles an hour. I mean, this thing runs great. We got it up, obviously we're still breaking in the motor, so at about 35,000 RPM, we were doing about 25 knots, so it cruises real nice. Obviously, it's not a fast boat, but nobody's ever caught a bass going 50 miles an hour. It'll top out around 42 if you don't have a ton of weight in it. Here's your live well switches over here, aerator. You got your horn, your 12-volt marine cigarette plug. You have your bilge, your accessory nav lights, and then obviously your key, which is very nice. This has obviously the starter on it from Mercury. Starts up real nice, real quick, and it's real quiet. If we continue to move to the front of the boat, here in the TXW, you get a cooler. This is something you do not get in the TX or TW. You will not get it. In the TXW, however, you do get a cooler. With the TXW, you get a light here, you just press it in. I would recommend putting LED strips all around this. These seats, I want to get into. These, you get 2 of them standard with the boat. It's a matter of dropping it in. It just goes straight down, and then you're going to want to turn this obviously clockwise. It tightens all the way down, and then you can spin this. This seat top also comes out, so you can get a pedestal or a different seat if you want. But if you try to pull out sideways, it won't come out. You have to pull straight up. Those are both very nice seats, but they are expensive. You get 2 standard with the boat. Keep them nice. Moving up to the front of the boat now. This is where most of the work happens, obviously. Most of the fun stuff. Right now we have most of our tackle rigged up in here for early season bass fishing. However, we still have a few rods, few reels to put in here. We're always adding stuff, always changing stuff. Like I said, we're gonna put LED lights in here because of the fact there is no light. So it is kind of annoying to see. So you guys may have noticed a little change. That's my brother. I'm Kyle, he's Ryan. It's our boat, so I'm gonna take care of the rest of the walkthrough. You guys just saw this compartment with the rods. Let's go over to the starboard side rod locker. So in here, We have a couple more rods, but we're mainly using this for the life jacket storage. We have 3 life jackets in here, an inflatable one from Bass Pro, which we're gonna need to buy more of those because they shrink down nicely for this boat. And we have 2 like ski style in here and throwable. We also were able to fit the backlight pole in here with the 2 rods. It is deeper, so you can fit it like this, and it holds it all pretty well. The one thing I'll say is if you can get more of these, you can fit more rods because they can scrunch down. Now, out of this compartment, it has the same problem except flip, it shoves them to that side. This boat does have the rod strap, so if you're going down the lake and you have rods up front, just like that, pulls it shut. Let's back up slightly into this center compartment, which is the meat and potatoes of this boat. Spin that. And this is where the majority of your storage is. So we were able to fit this net. And now you can see what we have. We have the anchor with a 100-foot spool of 3/8 anchor line. Walmart had it. We have 2 of these Bass Pro style bumpers. We just bought paracord, cheap paracord, and cut it in here. Bump board. Pretty simple, better than a tape measure. It's easier. Just put the fish's nose there and it's a lot easier. We also have more dock lines in here. More dock lines, some bobbers, and miscellaneous things. Sunscreen and front light pole all fit there, and these strips go all the way up to the front. Very nice. Now, in here, we have a divider. I think these are 3700 size, cheaper. It holds all of our hard baits, or most of them, I should say. We don't have that many, but it holds all of them nicely. If you can see, it holds most of our stuff. Holds them nice right in here. Crappie, jigs, stuff like that. Miscellaneous baits. Now, this front storage is quite nice. We have 2 large Coogan Squad money bags completely full, and 1 smaller one also completely full, and it holds it real nicely. I'll pull them out so you guys can see. They're very full. Big storage. Holds them all nicely. Won't let them move around. And way back in here, if you want to look in there, the storage goes all the way up there, and we have another soft plastic bag all the way back in here. So it can hold all of this tackle in the center compartment, along with even more on the sides. Moving up front more, now that we have all this out, you can see there is that second seat right here with the rod safe. Now, up at the front of the boat, we have an EchoMap 12-inch touchscreen with LVS 34. We wanted live scope, and with that being said, we fish Lake Erie quite a bit. We needed the LVS 34 for a bit deeper water for walleye. The LVS 32 was cheaper, but we prefer the LVS 34. We have the switch for the black box. Make sure that if you guys get a boat and with live scope, you get that switch. If not, you're gonna have to crawl up in the boat every time under it and turn off that black box. It will keep drawing power no matter what you do, even if it's not in the water, if it's on. So make sure that is off. In the center thing here, another 2 cup holders and the basic foot mount, cool foot, and it's nice. The anchor is an indented floor panel, so that way you can sit here in the seat
nice and flush. Be comfortable looking at the live scope. The one thing I do want to touch on is the mounts for these. We put basic RAM mounts. This is class D. The one at the console is class C. They are extremely nice. We can set this up, tilt it 360. When we're driving, we can lay it down here and tighten it. For the trolling motor wise, we have a 45-pound thrust Minn Kota Edge, the stock one on the boat. I suggest putting a Lowrance Ghost or a Garmin trolling motor, or you could do a Minn Kota stronger one, but 45, it's the bare minimum. Definitely don't do anything less than that. You probably, with this boat, we run it on setting 4 or 5, especially into wind. You're kind of have to work around that, but it does what it needs to do. Moving slightly to the back a little, they have the flip-up cleats, if you want to get a shot of that. Completely flip-up cleats. They flip back down, and there's 4 of them, 1 on each side of the, well, 2 on each side of the boat. Also, the other thing I want to touch on is this VersaTrack system in here. If you see that little groove, you can put rod holders, you can put certain poles, you can put like light poles. It does everything that you could imagine. There's a little hole in the back there that it just lets something slide in easily and slide out, but it holds it there nicely. Like we said earlier, it's not the most expensive, but it does what it needs to do. Now, later in this video, we're gonna have a water test, show you more how it fishes, how it rides, and get some more shots of just how the boat looks. So, real quick, we wanted to just show you guys how this thing plugs in before the water test. Pretty simple. We have an extension cord here going to the wall, normal wall outlet. It's a simple 3-bank, pulls out, plugs in just like this. When you see that blue light come on, right now that's analyzing what's going on. And these bars are the charge. So that's all it is. When it turns like the amber or red, that means it's charging, and there's 5 dots here. When all 5 are lit up, it means it's fully charged. Now, the one thing I will say with these batteries and it being cold out, they drain a little. Then when it be warm out, they drain a little more just from the cold. So I'd plug it in. You have to plug it in after every trip. And if it's real cold out and it's the day before or something and you want to fiddle with the graphs, I'd plug it in also then. Now we're gonna jump to the trailer real quick and show you guys a little bit about the trailer. Thing with the trailer is, the great feature about it is it has this swing tongue. The swing tongue is amazing. Without it, it would not have been able to fit in our garage. It has the standard round adapter charger or the plug-in, I should say, for the lights. It's a normal single axle. Well, that's the spot for a spare tire. We'll put it there. And the straps are simple, just little rod saver straps. It doesn't have to be anything special.